for Arkansas as Jenna Laird digs in and takes a first pitch for a called strike one. Morgan Linestock, the senior from Scottsdale, Arizona. Laird hitting .376 on the season. Popped it up, left field. Kramer underneath for out number one.
So competitive in this circle. You're going to see her challenge the lower half of the zone. She pulls the string, can throw a changeup in any count, but it's the 10-inch bite on the drop ball. You can even see the late break, late life on that movement. It's one of the most competitive drop ball arms in our game right now.
Great crowd on hand here at Bogle Park. They're expecting enormous numbers this weekend for this three-game set. Ball to strike the count. You could have dialed up better weather. It's 77 degrees, just a slight breeze.
It's perfect.
I mean, it's phenomenal for early April. Honnold, slow roller to Halverson for out number two. She's been phenomenal this season in Fayetteville. Went away for ball one to Maddie Gallagher. .312 on the season, a couple of homers. She's driven in 24. Starting second baseman for the Tigers. Yeah, fatigue this time of year is a real thing, right, Aaron? When you think about it, you're given the travel schedule over spring break and you're heart of conference play, there's a lot happening.
Not to mention just where we are in the year, right? We're over halfway through conference play. These young women are finishing up finals. School's finishing up. They're trying just to get through the hardest part of their season. Here's a good look at that late break, the swing through from Gallagher. A low bite, a perfect location against a lefty. But to your point, it's a long haul. This is where you really feel that grind of the year. And this is where you lean on all the off-season work, the weight room work, all the stamina work that you have to get to this point in the year, because the journey's not over. The fun is just getting started.
Oh, I like that. The 2-2 on the way from Linestock. Outer half and a called strike three. A 1-2-3 frame for more. Ranked 11th in the country. Reagan Johnson leads it off for Arkansas as both corner infielders crash. It'll be Johnson, Kramer, and Bree Ellis, the Auburn transfer. And Hannah Gamble, you mentioned it, the shot heard round the world. Those 2 home runs in game 3. There's no joking on April Fools on Monday. Gamble was electric. Slapped over to short, Laird up with it quickly and in time for out one.
We have to pitch the defense against legs like Jenna Laird. She's got 12 stolen bases on the year. Johnson, excuse me, Laird there at shortstop, able to work through that ball, but this is some of the speed that we see at the top of the order, both for Missouri and for Arkansas, stacking the speed. Those 1-2-3 hitters.
Reagan Kramer, 289 hitter on the season. Junior from Topeka, Kansas. Played a little basketball during her time in high school at Seaman High. To double check the temperature before first pitch. 77 degrees. We were kind of in the shadows in our location right behind home plate here at Bogle Park. You just can't feel any better about life than being here right now on a Friday. Pack of the berm standing in the sunshine, just trying to catch a few rays. This one swatted into right field for a base hit. First hit of the game for Arkansas. And with one out, Reagan Kramer standing at first.
This is just like a tomahawk swing. She's able to throw the barrel on top of this rise ball. It's letter high. Such a strong lower hand to push through that pitch. Right over the head of Gallagher. And already Arkansas chipping away.
8 straight on base for Reagan Kramer. Leads the Razorbacks. Here comes the very big bat of one Bree Ellis. 46 career home runs, started her career at Auburn. On the inner half for strike one. Junior out of Houston, Texas. You think about facing Bree Ellis and Hannah Gamble potentially in the same frame, where you've got to combine almost 90 home runs hit between those two in their respective careers. Kramer does have 6 stolen bases on the season.
Briella's so good with runners on, a .414 hitter with ducks on the pond.
Harrison delivers, and a fly ball to straightaway center, drifting back at the wall. Bree Ellis has left the ballpark. Her 13th long ball of the season, and just like that, Arkansas jumps out in front 2-0.
This is why she's in the 3-hole. I mentioned it, a .414 hitter with runners on. Look at the lower body turn. This is what DJ Gasso does so well, a new hitting coach here at Arkansas, specializing in that lower body, utilizing the weight to get through that swing. Bree Ellis doing it so well in the 3-hole here. Already 2 quick runs for the Razorbacks.
Already calling the Hogs here at Bogle Park. Kennedy Miller due up next. One of the things Courtney Deifel, the head coach here at Arkansas in year number 9, talked with us about this week was Bree Ellis, her personality, her confidence. It's been infectious with this team this year. 0-2. You mentioned DJ Gasso, the new hitting coach. He's made an impact here quickly.
Getting a chance to talk to Courtney Deifel and just her thoughts of bringing on DJ Gasso to this staff, the energy that he brings. Just a breath of fresh air to this offense, his approach. There's the off speed you're going to see from Harrison. That's that new pitch. Yeah, the one-on-one approach, I think, from DJ has been new for this team. It's not an overarching style. It really is handcrafted for each one of these young women. How their bodies work, how their hands move, their bat path.
And Miller strikes out. Second out of the frame. Harrison battles back.
We saw the changeup, and that sets up for the rise ball up and away for Kennedy Miller. Really good setup there from Harrison. That's the beauty of the off speed. Even if she doesn't get the bite, it sets up for the swing through pitch, the rise ball.
Again on the outer half makes it 0-1 to Hannah Gemmel. It's 19 hits on the season. 10 of those hits have left the ballpark, including those 2 in Game 3 in Athens on Monday. 43 career home runs. She started every game this year. The Razorbacks. It's funny too, talking with Courtney Deifel about that moment in the 7th inning. She said she went back and she watched the replay probably 15 times this week, and every single occasion she got chills. Goosebumps were there. Quickly 1-2.
I mean, look at the swing, right, Roy? Like, this is a home run style swing. There's absolutely nothing left in the tank of the lower body on a cut like that.
Harrison knows that the 1-2 offering stays high.
I mean, that tells the story, the type of athlete she is in the box, She's an all or nothing type of kid. It shows up in every aspect of how she plays the game.
Fiery competitor. First team All-SEC performer 2 years ago, and back-to-back strikeouts for Harrison to close down the first.
In Tuscaloosa last year.
She was amazing in that regional against the Crimson Tide, and lo and behold, she's playing for Alabama here in 2024. And look at some of the numbers from some of those new pitchers. Isn't that how the portal's supposed to work?
I think so. It's a lot to keep up with. I feel like every year working as an analyst, that's like half my job, is just figuring out where did everybody go. I don't want to miss anything.
Well, it's like a carousel. I mean, see Brielas, Auburn, now at Arkansas. Caleb Beaver, Central Arkansas, now at Alabama. 3-0 the count to Kara Daly. 239 on the season. Good pop, a couple of home runs, 5 in fact. Jefferson City, Missouri. Grew up going to Mizzou games. And 4-pitch walk. Leadoff batter aboard. And a good start for Mizzou in bounce back mode under head coach Larissa Anderson already here in the top of the second. Best start in 11 years with this team this year, and they have been pretty good in close contests as well, Aaron.
Yeah, she said she feels amazing about this team. Even, they've had some early bumps and definitely some L's that I think should have been in the W column, and she acknowledges that. But she said overall we've learned. We've moved on. You learn so much more from a loss than you do a win. She said this team's been mature about it. They've really bought into the vision. They pull the same rope in the same direction. This has just been a fun team to coach this year.
So after 10-pitch first inning for Linestock, 4-pitch walk, and now 2 straight strikes to Katie Chester.
Starting to see a little bit more of that off speed peppered in from Linestock. She tunnels that same location at 3 different speeds.
I love listening to you pregame, examining what you were watching and the quick nature of being able to pick up the changeup right away.
Well, this is spoken from a hitter, because I was not a pitcher, so I had to rely on that sharp eye of what I could possibly see in the batter's box. There's always games within the game here.
I'm trying to learn by osmosis from you. Chester stays alive. Daly at first. First walk issued by Linestock. 0-2 the count. First of 3. We will have the finale on Sunday right here on SEC Network. Big weekend of softball around the conference, out of the conference, future members of the conference coming to the conference next year. Talk about those as we get deeper into this one. Good battle here between Chester and Linestock ensuing.
A lot of power with Katie Chester at the plate. A 5-hole that has big aspirations in her career, but right now for her it's just getting off of that emotional roller coaster. It's so easy to get wrapped up in the results of our game.
And a second strikeout for Linestock is the first out here in the second.
Such devastating movement from Linestock. We saw 2 off speeds thrown against Chester, and then she sets her up for the knee-high drop ball that falls right off the table.
That'll bring up Maya Dodge. Transfer from Northern Iowa. Big cut. Finding the groove again is Linestock after that quick first inning.
I'll tell you, Roy, drop ball pitchers were the bane of my existence. So I'm watching these swing throughs on the drop ball, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
You understand.
I understand it.
Off speed that time, and it floats across for a strike. SEC Player of the Week, Maya Dodge. Mentioned the transfer from UNI. She was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year a season ago, and it's taken some time to adjust to the SEC and quickly retired the 3rd strikeout for Linestock.
What a response from Linestock. You see the leadoff walk against Daly and then back-to-back Ks. She hammers the hands just under the handle of Dodge and gets the swing through. I'm just feeling the pain of that drop ball watching it. It is so filthy. It is such a hard pitch, Roy, to adjust to be able to see that pitch deep, to not want to roll over and be early on that location.
1-0 to Abby Hay, a slow roller. And the throw over to first in time from Camenzind.
In her back to this program, one of the highlights of her career as a head coach was having Danielle Gibson join the staff.
Halverson leads things off and takes outside for ball one. And this is what Coach Deifel had to say about bringing her home. One of the proudest moments of my coaching career. It's a perfect addition to complete our staff. Kylie Halverson, the redshirt senior from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, pops it up. And the shallow right field drifting back is Gallagher for out number one.
I think it's always a win when you can get an alumni back to your alma mater, back to their program, being on the coaching staff. They just bring an extra element of pride. And for her, I think with the proximity of her graduating year, she can really relate to these young women. Such a different perspective, just connecting with them.
2003 graduate from Cal is Coach Deifel. We had a great conversation with her this week. Camenzind a slow roller to second. Gallagher again up to the challenge for out number two. And don't forget, coming up tonight, it's another SEC baseball matchup featuring ranked 2 up, 2 down for Rylan Hedgecock. Senior out of Valdosta, Georgia, smacks it all the way to the wall, off the base. Hedgecock digging for second and slides in safely with a 2-out double.
All gas, no brakes here. First pitch she sees. This one's hung over the middle of the plate. That's a miss by Harrison. Just too sweet over the strike zone, and Hedgecock makes her pay.
Third hit of the game for Arkansas. Just the 5th pitch of the inning, and that'll bring up Lauren Camenzind, twin sister of Hannah. Batting ninth, an excuse me swing, and it's tapped over to first. An easy play for Abby Hay. And the 2-out. Linestock back in the circle. Julia Crenshaw will lead things off. Number 8 hitter, the junior from the Show Me State, hitting .239 on the year. Former Missouri Gatorade Softball Player of the Year back in 2021. And won the state championship, talking track and field, in the javelin, which is awesome.
Wow.
That's power personified. State champion in that department.
That's got to transfer over, right? Some skill sets there.
I think
right?
so.
The overarm throw, right? The shoulder strength, using the lower body force.
There's brute strength on display. Sent over to third. Up with it quickly is Gamble, who makes a nice play for out number one.
It's a hot shot. She turns and burns on this pitch. Flash in the leather at third. Gamble coming up. I thought for a second there this was actually a line drive catch. That ball moving so fast off the bat.
Nifty glove work by Hannah Gamble. Talked about her offensively going back to last weekend. Bottom of the order for Kaylee Langer. Liberty, Missouri. She lettered in softball, of course, basketball and track. I'm guessing growing up you played more than just softball.
Played a little bit of golf.
Okay.
But I was softball all the way past 8th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
Curious if the golf swing would mess with the softball swing. That one clipped her right on the arm. And so Langer aboard with 1 out, and that'll bring the top of the order back. with Jenna Laird for Mizzou.
That's only the second free bag that Linestock has given up. A walk back in the second against Daly, and now a hit by pitch against Langer. Just barely clipped the Evo shield. She stood her ground. It's the right call.
The base of the elbow. That'll bring Laird back. Langer with decent speed in the bottom of the order, standing at first. When our infielders crash, and a strike makes it 0-1 to Jenna Laird. 32 pitches in for Morgan Linestock, who has been in control early. Laird, the former SEC Freshman of the Year back in 2021. Hard to believe that's 3 years ago. 0-2. Was originally recruited to Hofstra by head coach Larissa Anderson before she took the job in Como.
Take a look at the defensive setup here. A little bit of a shift towards right field.
And swatted right into it. Underhand toss, not in time.
This is high IQ hitting. Jenna Laird sees the shift, sees that Gamble is shaded towards the pitching circle, that Kamenzind is shaded over towards second base. There is a wide open chunk of real estate. That 3-4 hole side, perfectly placed. That is so much barrel control from Jenna Laird.
Oh, Halverson did a great job to get rid of it quickly, but by that time, Laird was already at first. So now 12 straight games that she has reached. Active leader for Mizzou.
Do all you can to keep her off the base paths. 12 stolen bases in 15 attempts this season. Just behind that is Arnold.
So Langer now at second. Laird at first. Arnold up to bat. Ball and a strike to count. Grounded out to second, her first plate appearance. Don't forget this week's featured softball game right here on SEC Network, the ESPN app. Home of Texas underway tonight. Hit softly, foul territory, and against the netting, no. Gamble couldn't come up with it. It was a tough play regardless.
It's two back-to-back changeups from Linestock. Could see Honold way out on the front side there. Gamble giving chase, almost falls into Danielle Gibson. I'm admiring the braids. I'm loving that hairstyle.
It took some time.
Wow.
With 2 on, in the dirt, and a good block by Miller. 2-2. Mizzou threatening here in the top of the third inning. Langer was hit by a pitch, an infield single by Laird. Popped up in the infield. Bree Ellis underneath it. Record the second out.
Honold struggling with the changeup, that at bat. We saw 4 changes. 3 of those were bites from Honold, and finally flies out on one.
It's all up to Maddie Gallagher. Runner in scoring position, low and away. He struck out in the first inning. Only time up. Port Washington, New York. Started her career at South Carolina. Was actually good friends with Jenna Laird growing up. 2-0. Grew up minutes apart in Long Island. And growing up, how cute is that picture? And now to be playing on the same team after Maddie began her career with the Gamecocks. 2-1. It's her first complete season in Como. Was a mid-year transfer last year. And was also recruited by Coach Anderson Hofstra back in the day. 424 hitter with runners in scoring position, and it's 2-2, so line stock has bounced back.
She's just getting in her head now, right? Some guessing games, I think, happening here. That pitch is hard, and it looks like Gallagher may be expecting something soft.
20th pitch of the frame, outside, try to get her to chase, and a full count.
.424 hitter is Maddie Gallagher with runners in scoring position.
The payoff pitch, both runners on the move, popped up in the infield. Cammon's in underneath it to record the third and final outs. And line stock escapes. Now back in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott. A few minutes ago, you suggested you grew up playing golf. I'm not sure about the lie here for this young lady, but the bumpers never hurt near the dugout, I suppose, with the net.
We're playing the lay of the land.
And back to her seat after participating in the contest in front of the Hog Wild Band, which has been very festive this evening. Reagan Johnson back to the top of the order for the Razorbacks. Takes upstairs for ball one. 2-0. Number 19 Arkansas in front of 11th ranked Mizzou. Tigers won the series last year. Both wins coming 3-game set in walk-off fashion after getting run ruled in game number 1. Ball and a strike to Reagan Johnson. Did the golf swing help you with the swing and softball?
After 8th grade, I had to give it up. First of all, the time commitment.
You know my theory on golf.
Remind me again, please.
2-1.
If you're good at golf,
you're not good at anything else because it requires so much time. It physically, literally is impossible.
I think you're onto something there.
No offense to all of those scratch golfers out there. I applaud your efforts. But make no mistake, you are spending a lot of time on the range. Off of Harrison's glove, it bounces in the circle, and that's one way to do it for Reagan Johnson. The ball had some velo coming off the bat and an infield hit.
Right back to Harrison. This one kicks off the heel of the glove. If you're facing Johnson, you can't afford to make a single misstep. With so much speed at the top of the order, 11 stolen bases on the year, you've got to be clean.
And we asked Courtney Deifel the very easy question. Reagan Johnson, is she the fastest player that you've ever coached? Without hesitation, yes. Has not been caught. And just has a next level speed that, well, you love to have her ability and skill set at the top of the order. Former All-State performer, 300-meter hurdles in Texas. She knows she was going against some outstanding athletes. Kramer shows bunt and the pitch well outside. She can flat out fly. Kramer single and a run. She was driven in off the homer by Bree Ellis in the first. 13th of the season for Auburn transfer. She's set up in the very back of the box and hammers it foul.
I'm talking to Coach Deifel about their offense this season. I had asked her about, of all the facets of hitting, what do you guys feel like you've mastered? What are you guys doing really well at the plate right now? She was very honest in return with us, and she said, we have not mastered anything. This is a squad that really embraces the prep on exactly who they're going to face. We have to be a chameleon at the plate. We have to prep for what we're going to see. We've got to stay loose. We can't be married to one approach. We have to be able to adjust, and that is what this team has been able to do.
Kramer is hit by that pitch. First two aboard for Bree Ellis. We mentioned moments ago to straightaway center for 13th long ball of the season back in the first inning. Freshman of the Year in 2022. Part of the plate, 0-1.
Part of that approach, too, for this team has been the synergy from both Danielle Gibson as well as DJ Gasso, hand in hand in tandem, working with this offense. Coach Deifel talks a lot about their dynamic. They each have they've got very similar approaches, but they're able to deliver it in different ways, which works for the spectrum of this team.
Works quite well for a team that is ranked in the top 20, coming off the series win in Athens. Number 3 Georgia last weekend. Johnson at first, Johnson at second, Kramer at first. Ball and 2 strikes to count to Bree Ellis.
I think this was the pitch that she wanted. I don't know where she was looking, what she was sitting on, but that one was about as good as it gets.
Big moment for Sierra Harrison. After giving up the homer in the first, struck out Miller Gamble to wind down the frame, and has been locked in since until this inning.
I think if you're Harrison,
Crenshaw is going to go over towards the dugout.
You're probably thankful she didn't swing at that pitch, too. A 13 home run season so far for Ellis. And that looked to have been potentially a miss from Harrison, and she gets away with it. Right now, Crenshaw just trying to get the gear on. A little malfunction.
Happens.
It happens.
Julia gets situated after the broken shin guard. Take a look at what Sierra Harrison has done so far tonight. 2 innings, 4 hits, 2 early runs, and a couple of Ks. Crenshaw's ready to go. Ellis now with 47 career homers. Going back to her time at Auburn, now her first year in Fayetteville. Kennedy Miller in the on-deck circle. Player who does not have very many bad at-bats. And Ellis retired the 3rd strikeout for Harrison.
What a huge break here from Zoo. That's a big pitch from Harrison. She gets away with strike 2 that was sweet over the strike zone without the bite from Ellis, and then makes her chase out of the zone.
Miller. Big cut, fouls it straight back into the netting. Courtney Deifel said she doesn't have very many bad at-bats this year. Handles the failure rate of the game really well. Always does a deep dive into prep before all of these SEC series. Just a freshman and a freshman catcher in Kennedy Miller. He's been a standout performer. Cut on and miss, nothing in 2.
We haven't had to see Harrison use much of the off-speed, only a handful of times now through 2 1/3 innings. It's been mostly that up ball spin, the curveball, breaking away from the zone.
Sitting into foul territory, and that will carry him out of bounds. Right over the wall into the berm area, if you will. Still 0-2. I believe you can count on one hand the number of times we've seen her go off speed and utilize that changeup. Morris Anderson said that certainly has been a work in progress this year, but something obviously she has to have at this level. The rise ball misses. It's 1-2.
It's probably a good likelihood we're going to see Harrison again this weekend. So this may be just her not wanting to show all the cards until she absolutely feels like she has to.
2-0 game here in the bottom of the 3rd. Fly ball straight away center. Tracking is Honnold, and tagging is Johnson. She'll make it to 3rd. Runners at the corners now with 2 outs.
Well, now you set your sights to Hannah Gamble, who's going to step in Miller setting the table for her. She's able to advance runners another 60 feet with this fly ball into dead center field. And Roy, you and I have talked about the impact of Hannah Gamble. 19 hits on the season, 10 of those hits are home runs. 2 of them came against Georgia last weekend in Athens. A grand slam being one of those 2. It's got to look like a beach ball too right now.
10 of her 19 hits this year have left the ballpark, and now both sides will confer to go over an important AB.
Down and golf something, Roy.
There we go.
She loves it.
It's all about golf today. Rip foul right back towards us. 0-1. Harrison has lived on that outer half, it seems like, and is not afraid in a big pitch situation to send one off the plate and try to get you to chase, like what we just saw with Bree Ellis, and even Kennedy Miller reached out for that out moments ago.
Well, for Harrison, the bread and butter for her is the curveball, and she'll climb the ladder with the curve. She'll work away, she'll nibble at the corner, she'll get the call, and then she'll continue to chase you out of the zone.
Just a sophomore, a tremendous softball ahead in her career. In the start on a Friday night, runner goes and will make it to second easily. Kramer now standing at second, and a base hit, make it a 4-0 game. Johnson remains at first. She got the inning started with a single. Kramer was hit by a pitch, strikeout and a fly out to center. And here we are, the 0-2 just missed. Kramer now perfect 7 for 7 in the stolen base department this season. Deep breath by Harrison. Comes home with a 1-2. Shallow left, right in the Bermuda Triangle. That'll drive home 2. Hannah Gamble. Clutch hitting with 2 outs. She'll drive in 2 more. And it wasn't the long ball that time, but a perfectly placed ball right there in shallow left center.
Check the location of this pitch. Low, 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 right at the knees. She loves to go for that low strike. That's in her wheelhouse. That's where that she feels the most powerful to get extension through that ball. A little bit early here. This is an off speed, low in the zone. Clips off the end of the bat, but it's enough to get the job done. Outfield for Mizzou paying her respects, and they get burned right in front.
She called it an out-of-body experience in Athens Monday. Big cut by Halverson. The grand slam, that was her 3rd career multi-homer game. An amazing performer off the field as well, majoring in social work. She wants to run her own private practice and counseling one day. You think about that when you manage it with being a fiery competitor playing the game. Interesting dichotomy, but coach said when she swings, she means it. That time it was a little bit of a different outcome, but she'll take it nonetheless, especially with 2 outs. Ball and a strike to Kylie Halverson. 10 home runs last year, 7 already this season. Into right field for another knock. So back-to-back hits, the 3rd of the inning. Gamble now at second, Halverson at first.
Kylie Halverson struggled early this year. Talking to Courtney Deifel just about her development this season, she said, you know, the trust that she's had in this game has been so respectable. The fact that she's been able to really lean back and let the game come to her. Although she was frustrated early this season, she's really exhaled and allowed the joy of this game to come back.
25th pitch of the inning from Harrison. It's outside for ball 1. Anna Kamens in. 321 on the year, 0 for 1. Chance to do some more damage in the third inning. To the hot corner, and ready and waiting was Daly to retire the side. Coach, against Morgan Linestock, is there anything you would like to see shifted as you guys come back up to bat here?
Yeah, we got to elevate that ball a little bit more, look for something a little bit more up. I think we're taking those pitches that we should be crushing, and then we're chasing the ball that's in the bottom of the zone. What's impressive is that she's throwing a lot more off speed than she traditionally does, so we got to be able to hit one speed.
Coach Harrison in the circle, I know you've worked with her in the off speed, an additional pitch that has come into her repertoire this season. Do you like what you're seeing so far from her against Arkansas?
I am. I mean, we should have been out of that inning to make a play behind her. But I mean, she's getting them to chase some balls, and she's keeping them off balance. But we just can't give them too many opportunities.
Coach, glad we could hear you over the band. We appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thanks for being here. MIZ.
4-0 ball game. She was in great spirits as we chatted with her before coming on the air. Would you love to see it? She said, I love the band. The atmosphere here is tremendous. It's a great rivalry, especially from the Mizzou side of the equation. And it has been festive all afternoon and now evening, and you expect it will be here at Bogle Park this weekend.
There's a lot of people here. The atmosphere is great. I've been smelling caramel corn for like 2.5 hours now.
Daly hammers this one with home run distance, but foul.
Weather's perfect.
I'm not hearing a lot of complaints from this side of the broadcast booth.
Zero. Maybe if I had some caramel corn up here, that may be, you know what I mean? Maybe just one little bit there.
Just have a mapley, syrupy kind of smell to it as well. One hopper over to Hamill in time. Gamble records the out. Nice catch by Ellis over at first. Linestock has settled back in, and that'll bring up Katie Chester. Struck out in the second, her second plate appearance, hitting .280. Average has risen nearly 100 points since last season. And Coach Anderson told us this week really has the ability to be a force. Love to get her on base here and try to kickstart a rally. Top of the fourth in a 4-0 game. Heart of the zone, 0-2.
Yeah, Coach Larissa Anderson's exactly right. We've seen a lot of off-speed from Linestock, and this is a pitch that has challenged Mizzou all season long. They struggled against the off-speed against Baylor earlier this year.
Fair territory, Gamble across and in time.
Chester asking if this is foul.
Fair from our vantage point, which we have perfectly down the third baseline.
It's a tough look. Looks like they are going to leave the call as it stands. Back to the off-speed, Roy. This was a pitch and a speed that has really given Mizzou fits this entire season. They haven't been able to make quick adjustments. And one of the things I had asked Larissa Anderson was, how are you preparing for this pitch? Are you able to see live arms in practice to make adjustments on this speed? She said, Aaron, I got to tell you, we haven't had the ability to have an intense practice with the amount of travel, the amount of time that we've had to recuperate, recover from long road trips. It has been tough for us to have really dedicated practices to that pitch.
Shantice Phillips, the pinch hitter, called upon by Larissa Anderson. The 6-hole. Now that stood out to me as well. It was eye-opening to hear that in our conversation with her 2 days ago. Just the lack of time that has been there. And in fact, Aaron, if you think about it, they were supposed to play a doubleheader against Southeast Missouri this week, and that got changed at the last minute just because of all the different factors she discussed with us. You just mentioned on air. 1-2.
It's a real thing, and I even just calling games all season long, that's been a consistent story I think that I've heard from a lot of coaches is the amount of just stuff that these young women and these head coaches and coaching staffs have to juggle.
Line stock in control. Enough. Touch base with the head coach of the Razorbacks, Courtney Deifel. Coach, can you hear us okay over the band right there? What a great atmosphere here at Bogle Park tonight.
Yeah, it's really cool to have our band out here tonight. They just bring a lot of energy, and these headphones are really nice because I can hear you. It's the first time I've been able to hear myself think or someone else talk to me.
Line stock in the circle, coach, has been so impressive. We've seen a little bit more off speed from her, I feel like, tonight. What was her approach coming in against this matchup?
Well, we prepped for him really well, and it was just trusting her stuff and using it as we need to. So we didn't use it quite as much as last inning. We're just going to use it as we need. But her stuff looks really good. She's still in her defense, and she's got that fire she always has.
Coach, best of luck rest of the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You,
we
Coach.
picked. Thank you.
Calling the Hogs. Little Hey Jude in the background. The dugout was dancing in unison with the band. Great scene in the SEC. Rylan Hedgecock will lead things off. 8-9 at the top of the order, 2 up for the Hogs. Sierra Harrison being set to make her 50th pitch of this ball game. Hedgecock doubled her first plate appearance. Former All-SEC second-team performer. Incredible year last year at .335, led Arkansas in terms of on-base percentage, slugging percentage. One is hammered foul, right behind us and out of play.
I think this crowd is only going to continue to get bigger as the weekend unfolds. I think the atmosphere will get louder. We're just getting started. This party's just getting started.
Just getting started. And you figure a lot of people just getting off of work today with the early time at 5 o'clock local, so you're doing some navigating to try to sneak past the boss out of the office, get over here. You want to get some sun in before some of that bad weather forecasted gets back here in the natural state. A little later in the weekend, perhaps.
Supposed to have good weather all weekend at least.
I think maybe Sunday night, Monday gets a little
wonky,
a little dicey, a little wonky. Good use of that word. Ball and 2 strikes. Hedgecock takes high.
This is that off-speed pitch that Harrison has added this season. I want you to take a look at the hand, really leaning forward to roll that wrist over the release point. It's a pitch I think if Arkansas can identify it, they'll be able to pick that ball, that location, and that speed out of the hand.
How easy is that to do?
Easier said than done.
I was going to say.
Probably easier from our vantage point up here for sure, but I'll tell you, in this sport at this level, if you can really see those things, if you can dedicate somebody in the dugout to pick those pitches, it can be a huge advantage. It can be a game changer.
Harrison delivers the 2-2. Serve foul. Got Arkansas baseball going on tonight. The #1 ranked Hogs against Ole Miss in a big series there this weekend. I have LSU and Vandy for you on the baseball side of things when we're done here in Fayetteville tonight. Active weekend in the SEC across the board. And let us not forget about the NCAA tournament later this evening, where #1 South Carolina, undefeated South Carolina, battles NC State. And Staley's team trying to win her 3rd national championship in Columbia. 8th pitch of the AB coming up. Shadows creeping across the infield here at Bogle Park as we speak. Foul territory and drifting. Does the broadcasting component get the competitive nature of you back when you were playing in Oklahoma? Does it do the same kind of thing, or?
I don't know if it's the competitive nature as much as it is like the adrenaline. I can feel my heart rate start to spike with certain at-bats.
Hammer, left field and gone. That was a no-doubt shot off the bat of Hedgecock. Fourth homer of the season. Into the parking lot, and that could have done some damage out there.
I think it hopped over 2 rows of cars. Roy, you knew it immediately. You waited absolutely with no hesitation to call this home run ball. Off the bat, the entire stadium went nuts. Check that out. 1 row of cars, and I think it bounced over another. Unreal.
Ford pickup truck out there that get that license plate. We'll get back to you later. 5-0 Arkansas. Yeah, that black one on the right side of your screen. Park at your own risk.
That's exactly it.
Ball traveled a very long ways, like a laser beam.
All right, so we're starting to see a little bit more of the off speed now from Harrison. The consistency in the swings, the contact, the solid contact from Arkansas, I think is going to require a shift in speed from Harrison in the circle.
Cammon's in, awaiting the 1-1, and she fouls it back. Lauren and Hannah, the twin sisters.
Keep in mind, too, the importance of this weekend for Arkansas. The matchup, number 11, Missouri, number 19, Arkansas. This will be a needle mover for Arkansas. If they were able to secure this series at home, this is going to move some things around in the rankings.
The two teams separated by just a game in the SEC standings, 4-5 and 5-4 in the league. Take a look at the updated RPI. Mizzou prime position there at number 8. Arkansas at 14. Got OU and Texas tangling this weekend. That's always spicy. Ball and 2 strikes. Harrison looking for out number 1 to the hot corner, and a nice play, and in time, Daly stabbed it for the first out. In softball and in baseball, so much happening around the conference, and the geographic footprint absolutely blazing. Up to Cleveland, over to Phoenix for the Final Fours. A 5-3 on that put out from Daly to Hay. And that's back to the top of the order with Reagan Johnson, 1 for 2 with a run. Mentioned her speed. And one of the aspects in the box that Courtney Deifel talked about with us is her tempo and controlling the zone so much better. The other thing she said was Johnson in center field just running down balls, recording outs. Sometimes that doesn't get talked about enough when you just see her speed on the base paths, Aaron. It's what she does defensively.
Yeah.
Negating hits, taking runs away. That is a real game changer for Coach Deifel.
That's part of the speed, too, that you don't see all the time like you do offensively. Even in recruiting, she said, I knew that Johnson was fast. I knew the type of speed that I was going to get, but I didn't really know the impact until I started seeing her cover ground in the outfield. My goodness. Devastating speed.
They started every game center field last year as a freshman. Right back there this campaign. Daly was ready and played it perfectly. Off the hop.
About Daly at third. Holy cow. Playing this to a T, pinching the corner, knowing that you're going to have to give yourself the best chance against this low. That's been the game changer for her this year.
As a hitter, also considering she has the changeup, that's an adjustment when you haven't seen a lot of that in this game so far. Now you know that she's capable in the circle of giving you something that is considerably more off speed than what you've seen.
She can hit up to 72 miles an hour, but the sweet spot for her is about 68 to 69. That's when her stuff moves the best. There's the off speed too, Roy, that you just mentioned. She can locate it at any count. It's low in the zone.
Kramer with a base knock in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third, has scored a run. Upstairs, it's 2 balls and a strike. Home runs tonight for Bree Ellis, for Rylan Hedgecock. Clutch 2-out hitting from Hannah Gamble again. 3 balls and a strike. Bree Ellis on deck circle. And she will get a chance as the inning continues. Kramer has reached all 3 ABs tonight. First walk issued by Witten, and here comes Bree Ellis, and here's where you have to be careful if you're Mizzou.
You start getting into this part of the order and things get dangerous pretty quick.
Bree started every game at Auburn at first base last season. All 62 games. Athletic family. Her father, Ron, played football at Rice. Very prideful with her dog, Hank, that's named after Hank Williams. Grabbed our attention this week getting ready for this game. 0-1, make it 0-2.
You know you're a baller when you've got your dog named after Hank Williams, right?
I think so, and I mean, you can't resist that. Beautiful. Maybe Hank is back at the homestead and enjoying.
He's got the remote control out. It's a lot of softball to watch this weekend, you know?
Indeed. 0-2 upstairs.
I was just, speaking of softball, checking in on scores. Tennessee up 3-0 against Georgia in the top of the 4th.
Game 2 tomorrow at noon right here on SEC Network.
We got a tie ball game between Virginia Tech, NC State, tied up at 3 apiece. Oklahoma just went up on Texas 1-0 in the top of the 3rd.
Future SEC foes. Inside, that'll even the count. Oh, a good take by Ellis. Kennedy Miller would be due up next. Leads the Hogs in batting average this year, 0 for 2 tonight, and Ellis strikes out for the second time. In control and remains in the circle with Aaron Miller. Roy Philpott off the glove and into left field for a hit. Hammond's in, couldn't bring it down, slowed it down for a moment, and Abby Hay is aboard.
That's the approach I would be taking against line stock. I'd be swinging early and I'd be swinging often. You know you're going to see some type of down ball spin and some type of off speed, and the timing of those 2 pitches overlap. So take your strikes early, take your hacks early.
.57 pitches now for line stock. Julia Crenshaw hitless in 1AB. Grounded out to 3rd in the 3rd inning. And the 1-0 stays inside. Same 2 teams tomorrow. We're back with you for Game 3 Sunday here on SEC Network. 2-0 pitch stays high. Stock took something off of that one. 3-0 the count, and Mizzou a chance to do some damage. Crenshaw loves to take a couple of pitches before she settles in. In fact, does not have a hit on the first pitch this season. Coach Anderson said she's always watching. When the count gets to 2 strikes, that's when the fun begins. Hitters count here at 3-1. And Crenshaw hops it over to Gamble, who recovers in time to get the play at first. They've had a chance for 2, struggled to get the ball cleanly.
This is just swung on hard from Crenshaw. You'd like to see Gamble try and move some momentum through that ground ball, but instead gets caught kind of on her heels, kicks off the heel of the glove. But to your point, I think if there's some momentum through that ball, potential for at minimum a fielder's choice.
Langer now at second. Excuse me, Hay at second, and here's Kaylee Langer up to bat. Hit by a pitch in the third, hitting .308 now on the season. Played club ball with teammate Katie Chester in her half, and that just catches the corner. 0-2.
This is one of the most meticulous athletes, I think, on this starting 9 for Mizzou. Has a mental checklist, a literal mental checklist that she brings to practice every single day.
Not games, but practice.
Yes.
We're talking practice. Swung on and missed. The throw down to first for out 2. Langer's retired. That'll take us back to the top of the order.
Just a filthy drop ball. Look at the way this moves. This is part of that 10-inch drop. Courtney Deifel bragging on the late life, the late movement out of the hand of Langstock, and you see it working.
One of the most selfless players she's ever coached. Fiery competitor, but doesn't take one pitch off, as you see Jenna Laird. Loves to attack the bottom half of the zone. We saw that on that last pitch. 1-1. You get that kind of praise from your head coach. He just said this week, so happy for her. She deserves every good thing in the world with her work ethic. And the break on the drop that you've talked about, it has been there tonight. Into foul territory, Gamble tracking to retire the side. Hay is, and a slow roller to third for out number 1. Kennedy Miller is retired. Play by Daly, who has seen her fair share of action these last 2 frames, Aaron.
She's been lights out. I feel like the third base side, the hot corner's been challenged. Gamble's been challenged over there. Daly's been challenged. It's like a magnet over on third base tonight.
Daly in that AB against Reagan Johnson, I believe it was about halfway down the line. And just the hand-eye coordination to be able to grab the ball cleanly without hesitation, knowing you've got one of the fastest players in the sport barreling down the first baseline, and to make it look effortless was impressive. 0-1 the count to Hannah Gamble. That clutch 2-out 2-strike hit. It's not a homer. It drove in 2. Third inning, that kind of broke this game open, at least early. Dare I say more bands in softball? Is that okay to say?
I will totally sign that
Can we get more of that?
Yes.
I didn't know how I would feel about it. First got to the ballpark, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. This is different. Now I'm 1,000% on board. You never hesitated.
No, we love it.
Hog wild. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gamble into the net. Hannah Gamble, you may not know, has the key to the city for hometown of Beebe, Arkansas. Yeah, when she swings, she means it. And when she needs to open a door, she can, at least in her hometown.
This is one of the most involved and engaged young women I know. In all aspects of being a student athlete, I feel like she has really made the most of her time here in Fayetteville.
Full count. Well, we mentioned earlier, Aaron, majoring in social work, wants to run her own private practice and counseling one day, and is really given a lot of her time and giving back to her community at such a young age. That's why you are given the key to the city. Amazing and selfless. Payoff pitch from Witten. Hammered foul. Turned on it a bit too quickly.
That was one of the things that Coach Stiefel actually praised Hannah Gamble for, is just her entire career. She has given to so many different people, and at times it's really caused her to have to pour from an empty well. She said this season she's been okay with saying no to some things and really focusing back on her and what she needs, what Hannah needs to be successful.
Witten comes home, the 3-2. Rocket shot that is tracked down by the left fielder. And the second out, it was Phillips who came in for Dodge.
I think every single coach can speak to that too. We did speak with both of these head coaches about everything that they have to juggle now and how quickly and all at once our sport has changed just since COVID, even with the addition of NIL and how the transfer portal has changed things, the addition of the action clock and replay footage, the media, the pressure, all of it, the additional travel, right? We're seeing how that's affecting Mizzou coming into this weekend. There is so much to manage.
And it's not like you can hurry up to rest the rest of the weekend. Not an easy thing to do. Alverson, the 1-0. Elliott flied out to second. Her first plate appearance. Base knock in the second.
With anything, you just adapt. I think for me, even working in the sport too, it's adapting to the technology. My goodness, the amount of data and information, it's so much to digest.
That part can be overwhelming because you can go down the rabbit hole of, okay, up in the zone batting 122, down in the zone batting 554, heart of the plate 300.
You're like, just see the
hot,
ball.
Cold zones all over the place.
Hit it. There's an off speed from Witten. Yeah, we had a good laugh about that with Coach Stiefel about, I haven't been out of the game that long. I graduated in 2016, but even back then, not too long ago, but back then, we didn't really have all of the data and the information overload.
Back to Witten, knocks it down, over to first, and it's in time. Back when I used to play the sport. Alex Honnold will lead things off, and you saw in the picture there, Morgan was actually born deaf. She was 2.5 years old. She got a cochlear implant. She has a magnet on her head that's connected to that implant, and there's a microphone, and that's what enables her to hear. She only takes it out when she sleeps or swims. She's very proud to share all of that with our viewers, just to be an example for children with hearing disabilities, and an amazing story to be born deaf and not to be able to hear anything until you are 2.5 years old, Aaron.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing Coach Stiefel talk about the journey of her development here and just how she has blossomed as a young woman in a Razorback uniform. And she said if you didn't know, you wouldn't know, because it doesn't affect the way she plays this game. It doesn't affect how she approaches her craft.
Arnold pops it up over to short. Hammond's in. Records the first out here in the 6th. That'll bring up Maddie Gallagher. Linestock continues her dominance here in game 1. Game 2 tomorrow, game 3 back here on SEC Network. The SEC Network Plus tomorrow for all the action. More than 3,400 fans in attendance today. We are told tomorrow Aaron could approach maybe a record-setting turnout. The weather cooperates, which it should. I mean, you're just starting to feel those first signs of spring. It's nearly impossible to want to stay indoors here at Bogle Park, this fantastic facility. Got the Hog Wild Band, our first time in attendance in this game, our first of the weekend. Helping electrify the atmosphere a little bit, making it harder to hear our interviews in game with these magnificent coaches. And you see, just a year ago, nearly 100,000 attended all of these games. That was the third most in the history of the sport.
It's pretty incredible to see the rapid rate in which softball is growing and expanding. So many facility updates that we're seeing across the U.S. right now. Ole Miss, Oklahoma with a new stadium, Georgia with some upgrades. Oklahoma State with a brand new announcement of some stadium upgrades. I think we've gotten some word, maybe Arkansas right here in Fayetteville having some newness head our way.
Nice play with Johnson nearly crashing into Kramer. And that could have been trouble, but the players appear to be okay, fighting that sunshine in the process.
Yeah, that is Johnson all the way. Center fielder is in charge out there with the speed of Johnson as well. She can cover a lot of ground.
5 in a row set down by Linestock. 1-0 the count to Daly. Well, last year was my first year calling softball for ESPN, and you step in the first couple of games, the pace is amazing.
Yeah.
It's fast. It keeps your interest. There's no down moments.
No, it's so engaging.
It is very engaging. It's got a rhythm to it that is unlike really any other sport.
Yeah.
You've known that your entire life. 2-1.
Beautifully placed off speed. Linestock has just been so in control, composed, just unwavering this entire game.
She's been one step ahead of Missouri's hitters. On the inner half, that'll even the count. What will be pitch number 80. Daly walked in the second, grounded out in the fourth, and stays alive here. Five strikeouts so far for Linestock. On to number 6, but it settles in low.
This just misses. This is a great take by Daly, being able to identify this drop ball that starts in the strike zone at the knees, but she knows that it's going to continue to move low out of the zone.
Payoff pitch, swatted foul. And Daly out in front of that pitch.
Now this is the timing of Linestock that's playing tricks on the perception at the plate of Daly.
8th pitch of the AB coming up. Daly battling. Linestock in control. Strikeout number 6. And something to say out of the circle. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Cammonsen will lead things off. 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Razorbacks. Trying to finish strong here in game number 1. Aaron Miller, Roy Philpott, so glad you could join us tonight on what has turned out to be a sunsplash Friday afternoon at Bogle Park. Outstanding pitching performance by Morgan Linestock. 1-2 the count to Cammonsen.
This is an interesting choice for Mizzou. This is the only drop ball arm that they have on staff. spots the ball low entirely, just hammers low in the zone.
Over to Short, and Laird fires in time. What does that tell you that they would put her out there as the third pitcher in the circle tonight?
I think right now, one, wanting to get her some work, some innings. Not a lot of innings this season. Touché just looking to find her groove, to settle in. But two, maybe seeing what Arkansas can do against a drop ball arm. Maybe this is a tool that they're going to lean on a little bit more this weekend as the weekend progresses.
Class AB for Hedgecock. It was a shot. Fourth home run of the season inside here on pitch number 1 for ball 1. Well, Lily Witten did a nice job coming in and just settling things down a little bit after Harrison gave up the 5 spot. Harrison had her moments. Showed you what she's capable of. Out of the circle was Touché, and she fires high over to first. They couldn't bring it down. That means Hedgecock is safe. The E1 has Arkansas in business with 1 away.
This is just classic pressure. Just getting tested, having to hop out of the circle. Touché immediately trying to rush the throw. She had more than enough time to plant her feet, really rear back and make sure she fired a strike, and just Aaron way over the head of Hay at first base.
Pitch runner comes in, Ali Saki. And Carly Ratcliffe, pinch hitter as well. Saki standing at first. Ratcliffe, Texas transfer. Takes the first pitch strike. Start for the Gamecocks in Cleveland in the Final Four. 5-point advantage against NC State in the first half. Pitch in the dirt, good block by Crenshaw. First error of the game committed by either team. E1 put Hedgecock at first. Saki coming in to pitch run. She would love to keep this game exactly where it is, up to the top of the 7th, and try to make things interesting before game 2 tomorrow. Touché comes with her own credentials. And that time Ratcliffe able to check her swing. It's 3-1.
See Crenshaw just coming out to settle down in the circle. Touché just need to take a breath. This is where you get into the experience, right? The reps. And with Touché not having a ton of innings in the circle this season, needing that moment from Crenshaw, her leader, her catcher, to just take control of the moment, step out, slow the game down, give her a moment to breathe.
And the 3-1 hammered down the line. That's a fair ball. Saki digs for third. The throw comes in short. Runners now at second and third with just 1 out here in the 6th. Ratcliffe off the bench comes through.
This is blasted by Daly at third base, just down the line, bounces over the bag. This is just taking advantage of what you're given. An error from Touché in the circle. Pinch hit comes in, gets the job done. I love, 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 love when athletes get an opportunity off the bench and take advantage. You live for those moments.
Lauren Camazin, now your new runner at second. Oh, a base knock could make it a 7-run affair. Back to the top of the order in Reagan Johnson. Saki standing at third. Kamazin at second. The pitch is low. Reagan's 1 for 3. Lone hit coming in the third inning. A couple of ground outs. Corner infielders creeping ever closer to home plate, knowing how Johnson can slash. Arkansas has been at its best with runners on. Ducks on the pond. Low and away. We can just feel the wheels turning in the circle right now.
You can. This is good for her, though. This is good for Touche. I think being in pressure situations, it's early in the series. These are really big experiences that you need to build upon.
Touche.
Touche.
Over
baby.
to first, throw home, and the tag is applied for the second out. A heads-up play by Abby Hay. Runners now at the corners to prevent the run.
We knew you were going to see pressure. This is textbook second and third situationals here. You work on this tirelessly in practice. This is hit well. Johnson pulling away behind the runners, hitting the ball to first base, and Hay coming up with the strike at home plate.
Kamazin at first. Johnson at first. Kamazin at third. Nothing in one. Kramer has reached all 3 plate appearances. A single, hit by a pitch, and walked. She scored twice and stolen a base. Done a little bit of everything. The shadows creeping across center field. Nubbed into foul territory and just past the reach of Crenshaw. Gave it every single ounce of effort that she had.
This is always a tough portion of the game, too. You can see the shadows cutting across the field. Specifically in the outfield, just trying to adjust your eyes. Center field, Honnold getting hammered with sun. Langer and Wright starting to get hammered with sun as well.
0-2 into the dugout.
I can remember playing here in right field and just praying for that sun to finally hide behind the stadium.
Well, the closer you get to the right field line, you get a little bit of a break, but then you're transitioning from one to the other. If you're on the run, that is not an easy thing to do at times. Touche comes home. Fly ball to left field. Tracking is Phillips. And Touche gets the job done. A fist bump with Crenshaw. And a good way to close down the 6 for 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, just 1 walk. And softly hit into left field. Katie Chester's aboard. Just the 3rd time tonight Mizzou's had the leadoff batter reach. And a good start for the Tigers here in the 7th.
Overall, I think the Achilles heel tonight for Mizzou has been the off speed. They have really struggled to adjust against any shift in speed from line stock. That's been consistent all season long with this team. Talking to Coach Anderson about their struggles offensively, it's always been on pitchers that can locate the changeup in any count.
Tigers bring in a pinch runner over at first, Danielle Blackstone. Claire Callahan fouls it straight down. Pinch hitting for Phillips. And quickly 0-2. Blackstone, freshman. Callahan, a freshman, Columbus, Georgia. And the 0-2 to second. Try to get the force out there, and they do. Halverson just in the nick of time to Kamenzen. That is one way to do it. That was a bang-bang play. They may want to take a look.
It looks like there's a lot of conversation happening right now on the field. We'll wait to make an official call here, but as it stands, this is out at second base. Leah Dahm and Susan Aids behind the plate having a word, and they're going to go over and talk to head coach Larissa Anderson. I think what's happening, if I'm using my context clues here correctly, is that Callahan at the plate was out of the box, which means there's now a choice on the field for Arkansas. I think that's exactly what happened. Runner goes back, ball is dead because batter's out of the box. That's exactly what it is. Foot is out of the box. And now Arkansas having that choice.
So a runner at first, one out. And that'll bring up Abby Hay. We mentioned is just making her 5th start of the season tonight. Her 12th game overall. She has done remarkably well. Puts a charge into this one. Deep center field, and it is gone. Abby Hay. First homer of the season makes it 5-2. And a shot of momentum for Mizzou here in the top of the 7th.
This is part of that late life that you gotta love. You gotta build a fire around this. It's a spark. Yes, it's late in the game, but there is a lot of play left that's gonna happen here at Fayetteville. Mizzou has got to continue to find ways to make adjustments.
Now, Abby Hay.
Ball's upheld. The runner did not leave early.
Yeah, neither one of these teams have gone to the replay, to the challenge. So right there, just trying to play the odds, maybe get a call there, something you can't see with the blind eye.
The sheer joy on the face of Abby Hay. We mentioned it. Columbia, Missouri native, Rockbridge High School. Father John played baseball at Mizzou. Mother Amy was a golfer at Missouri. And now making her 5th career start tonight, her first career home run.
Here's what they were reviewing at first base. If she had left early, it's pretty clear that she was clean.
Bruscato, the pinch hitter now for the Tigers. If you're tuning in, expecting to see the start of game 2 between LSU and Vanderbilt in baseball. That game has started on the app. We'll get you to Baton Rouge. We're done here in Fayetteville. Mizzou with 2 outs to work with, trailing by 3. Aaron, the one thing I will ask you, even if this score stands and Arkansas holds on to win, it does give Missouri a little bit of momentum that it would not have had in game 2 tomorrow. And down on strikes goes Bruscato.
Yeah, again, it's using the opportunities. This is a marathon, guys. Conference play is a marathon, not a sprint. And any at-bat, any pitch you have left, you can use to learn, to move forward with, and that's exactly what Mizzou has done here in the top of the 7th.
Took 6 innings, Tigers on the board, and a big cut by Langer. Kaylee behind in the count, 0-1. Certainly takes nothing away from Morgan Leinstock. Sensational start, trying to go the distance. 0-2, and Mizzou down to its final strike. Crowd on its feet here at Bogle Park. And the 0-2. Langer stays alive. That may have grazed our home plate umpire, Susan Eads. These two teams within a game of each other in the SEC standings. Critical series in the heart of conference play, the 0-2. Seven strikeouts tonight for Morgan Linestock. Carom right off of Langer. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
Told you, that's what I used to do off of drop ball arms. I'd hit that right into the shin.
The pain is real.
The pain is real. The challenge on that drop ball is so real.
Morgan Linestock has been filthy tonight. Langer not going away easily. Tigers still down to their final strike. Pitch number 8 in this at-bat coming up next. Get you to Baton Rouge for Vanderbilt LSU. Another top 20 showdown. 100 pitch of the game. Linestock settles in low and away. And a bit of encouragement from Gamble coming in from third. And that hitter. Inning continues, the game continues. And the Tigers get it back to the top of the order. Don't go anywhere just yet. Stranger things have in fact happened. Jenna Laird. Former SEC Freshman of the Year. 1 for 3 tonight. Back up the middle, off the glove of Linestock. The throw to first, not in time. And now the tying run comes to the plate for Mizzou.
Hey, Mizzou keeps applying pressure, right? Forcing this defense to make plays, and they're getting themselves within striking distance here of this ball game.
Three hits in the inning. Langer was hit by a pitch. Low and away, and you can feel Linestock just trying to find that rhythm and that groove and that accuracy, the control again.
She's been so good through 6 2/3. Has been in control.
Go back to a year ago. Razorbacks run-ruled Mizzou in game 1. Then the Tigers came back and walked it off games 2 and 3 to clinch the series in Columbia.
This is now the 4th time through the order that they faced this arm.
3 balls and no strikes. Maddie Gallagher would be due next. And new life in the Tigers dugout after what we're witnessing so far in the 7th. Here's Gallagher. And there is activity now And the Arkansas bullpen. 3-1.
That's the pitch you want to hack at. I don't know what else you're looking for.
Full count.
Sitting between speeds, just the wave of that pitch right there, I think tells you everything you need to know. She's just guessing. Honnold's got to pick a speed, be confident with it, sit on it, and trust it.
And the runners go on the payoff pitch. Fly ball to left field, and that'll do it.